Hello. Hello. Okay, we're going to do another one of my thoughts. I've just finished one that you'll see at some stage. Just got a couple on here. My God, it's so hot, you know. I'm going to roll a fag, and I've got a little bit of a frozen Slurpee left, so I'm having that, if you wonder what the bloody hell I'm doing. Okay, this one is Bartman, B-A-H-T, Bartman. He says, what's your thoughts on Jesus and why do you follow Buddha? What's my thoughts on Jesus and why do I follow Buddha? Well, this video will upset people then, won't it? Still religious people, 2019, and people still believe in the Bible, in religion, in Jesus, and they can do. They're free to. You've got to please yourself. I'm a big believer in whatever works for you, go and do that. Go and do that, you know. I used to hate religion. I used to absolutely hate it. I've always hated it actually all my life, even when I was a child at school. I started school at 11, the big school, and I refused to do religious education. It meant nothing to me, and it still means nothing to me. Of course, as you get older, you start to look into certain things and see what's right and what works for you. But at that age, it didn't work for me. Excuse me. So I had extra English, which was really good. Because it pulled me out of all religious education classes. But still, people believe whatever they want. I mean, I've got somebody in my family, very, very religious, you know, and that's cool. To a degree, that's cool, you know. I find that when people are, not always, because I've got friends that are vegans as well, when somebody's vegan, sometimes they go bing, 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 finger wagging. If somebody's a non-smoker, they go bing, 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 you know, I give up smoking, why don't you? Because I don't want to. And I find that with religion as well. You just mention religion and people go, oh, and they go all prickly like that. Well, I'm very sorry, but I am allowed my view. So are you. So your views, your opinions, whatever, they are yours. And this is just my thoughts. So there's no rights, there's no wrongs, they're just my thoughts. Bartman says, what did he say? What's my thoughts on Jesus and why do you follow Buddha? Which order shall I take that in? Take it as it is. What's my thoughts on Jesus? My real thoughts on Jesus is he's a character from a storybook, a fairy story book. That's my real, true thoughts on Jesus. To me, it's a lot of nonsense, the whole thing, the whole concept of Christianity, the Bible, the characters in there, whether they be the God or the Jesus or the Satan or whatever, they're just characters. To me, it's nonsense, just silly fairy stories about talking snakes and, you know, it goes on, doesn't it really, you know. For me, it doesn't work. However, I'm a big believer that if you like it, you like it. If you believe in it, you believe in it. And if it gets you through the day, remember that little saying, whatever gets you through the day, you know? Yeah, I think now as I've matured and what have you, my true feelings, yeah, the first thing that comes to mind when I think of Jesus is just, I don't know, a confusing story. Very confusing because he was a Jewish guy, wasn't he? So he would have, according to the storybook, he would have had dark skin, dark hair, dark eyes. Now he's kind of portrayed as this blue-eyed, blonde-haired sort of guy, you know, and I don't understand that. I don't understand that the whole. Well, there's no concept of Jesus, is there? Not really. It's very confusing. Is he black? Is he white? You know, he seems to be everything to everybody. So I don't know. You know, people celebrate Christmas, which is Festivus really. It's a pagan tradition. Most pagan traditions that Christianity stole, that's fact. So yeah, Festivus, you know, Christmas and what have you, that's a pagan festival, but now they say Jesus is the reason for the season. And now they're saying, well, Jesus wouldn't have been born around that time, you know, because as shepherd watched their flocks by night, and there was baby sheep and what have you. So we're looking at May and June. So he was possibly born early summer. So even that is kind of, it's all over the bloody place, isn't it? You think, well, what can I believe then? You know, what can I believe? Well, my thoughts is it's just a lot of old nonsense, but it's a good story. It's a great story. It's a wonderful story, because there's so many silly, crazy things that could never happen, you know. A man making a woman out of a rib, his rib. He didn't die either. They pulled his rib out and said, whoops, never mind, I'll fashion a woman out of this. And there was a talking bear and a talking snake, and somebody divided a river, you know, or whatever, or the sea. Somebody built a boat. I mean, it was so bloody big, every animal and all their food and water and God knows what else. You know, it was, somebody lived in a whale. You know, it's silly, the whole thing. So the Jesus character just bleeds into the silliness as far as I'm concerned, really. And I'm sure that will have offended people, and I don't mean it to offend, but it is just a story, you know, and you can believe that story, of course you can. There's nothing wrong with believing in that story. You know, you can believe my head is silver or purple if you want to. But that's that, isn't it, really? I tell you what I don't like about it, if we just for a second, I don't like religion that teaches you to hate and stuff like that, and that's what Christianity does, and that's why I really dislike that. There's more murders in the Bible, more rapes in the Bible, more abuse in the Bible, more treating women as second-class citizens in the Bible than in any other form of spirituality or religion or doctrines or teachings. It's an awful, awful religion for that reason. The person in my family who's very religious has two sons, and one of his sons is left-handed, and the Bible says something about left-handed people should be put to death. I'm gonna cough. Yeah, why do I follow Buddha? I don't follow Buddha at all. I don't follow. I class myself as a Buddhist, but I'm also a pagan. I take the good from wherever it comes from, really. So I don't follow Buddha. I mean, that's the end of that, isn't it, really? But reasons why I'm a Buddhist. There's a lot of good when you follow the Buddhist sort of tradition to a degree. I don't follow it to the nth degree, but I follow it to my degree, you know. There's a lot of beauty in being a Buddhist. If you do some meditation, do some reading, things like that, it's a wonderful way to be, as far as I'm concerned. And it's not religion, because there's no church or whatever. There's no silly stories. There's lots of stories, but there's no silly stories about, you know what, I've just said, haven't I, really? And with the Buddha, we know things with the Buddha. You know, his name was Siddhartha Gautama, for instance. You know, we know that. He was born in Lumbini, which is Nepal. We know that he died when he was 80. We know that he got married at 16. We know that at the age of 29, he started his teachings. You know, we know all that. He died in India. He had one son. We know his son's name. We know what the Buddha looked like, and the Buddha had sort of dark curly hair, but the Buddha had blue eyes. And we know that. We know so much about the Buddha, and there's lots of manuscripts and teachings and things like that that he left behind, and also the people that were attached to him and learning from him over the years, you know. So to me, Buddhism is real. Christianity isn't. Christianity, you have to try to believe in something. It's your belief. Whereas Buddhism is fact. I'd much rather deal with fact than fiction, to be quite honest, you know. So I'm sure that video has upset people. I don't mean it to. I got some quite strong views there about it. I think religion is there to divide people. That's what I see, and I am sorry that I've upset you if that's the case. But you know, we are allowed differing views, aren't we? Really, the amount of deaths in the name of religion is awful. It's terrible. You know, and I say with Christianity, you know, there's a lot of hatred and bile, you know. And if your religion teaches you to hate somebody else because of their set of ideals or beliefs, it's time for you to get another religion. That's what I think. Anyway, thank you for the question, and believe in whatever you want to, as long as you're a good person at the end of the day. Take care and be well. Cheers. Ta-ra then.